Hi, welcome back to my channel, to Brujita Sydney Moore. We are going to talk about Ready to Love episode 2 and 3. Honestly, I've been busy. I am in full-time school at multimedia production class, and I was not able to really sit down and get this recorded, but we're going to talk about it. So there's a lot to actually unpack these last 2 or 3 episodes. So I'm going to kind of rush through episode 2 because I just watched episode 3, so bear with me. So in episode 2, everybody is mingling. They're having a really good time, but we have some like specific interactions that I definitely want to talk about. And one of the first ones is where we have, I believe his name was David. We have David kind of sitting around with Joy and some other of the couples, well, not couples, some of the other singles, and they are, Joy makes a comment saying like, you know what, you're actually kind of a mystery man. And let me tell you something. When he kind of pointed his finger in her face, I'm going to be real with you. She was triggered, and so was I. Okay? And it really wasn't about what he was saying when it happened. It was just, it caused me pause. And then he has a conversation with Alicia where he's talking about like, any woman that I'm with knows that I run shit, right? Which I was just like, annoying, but continue. I want to hear more. And Alicia's like, well, I have 2 children. Would you be taking care of me and my children? He was like, well, those are your kids. Why would I be taking care of your kids? And I'm like, but I thought you ran shit. And this is my point in saying that. Like, I feel like relationships need to be partnerships, and it can't be like one is here and one is here, because it's like if somebody comes up with a brilliant plan, that's what we're going to follow, and it doesn't matter whose side that's supposed to lay on. And if there's housework that's equalized, if there's work that's equalized, or whatever dynamic your relationship is, it doesn't matter. It just needs to be equal. And that's obviously not what the fuck David was talking about, and let's just be fucking real. So that got him kicked off the show. Like I said, I'm going through episode 2, honey. Then we have Raymond, the one who has 5 kids, who was touring with Genuine and Tank. And, he was like a self-admitted whore, but he was like, oh, but I've reformed. And kind of like I said in my first episode, I really feel like the reason why he likes Adriana, who's kind of the youngest woman there, is because she's just kind of hoping she's a little dumber. But she's not completely dumb, because she was listening to what he was saying. And he made a comment at that same round table where David was putting his foot in his mouth. He was saying that he doesn't really need marriage. He has 5 children, so he doesn't really need to have another child. And of course, that puts flags up for everybody else in their mind, because as a woman who wants those things, you're thinking to yourself, I want you to want those things. I don't want you to be okay with me wanting it. Oh, tendril. Oh, shit. All right, you know what? I ain't even editing this part out. I saw something and I had to do something about it, okay? And we're going to put in this earring while I continue to speak. Everybody's here actually listening to what you're saying. And we want you to want those things and not just be okay with those things, because that is a very big difference. His kind of wishy-washiness also got him kicked off the show, okay? So another point in episode 2 that I do want to bring up is they had this round table with Steve Harvey brother, and one day I'll commit his name to memory, girl, one day. But he's sitting at all of the women are sitting at the round table with him, and they're explaining some of their interactions. And Denise is, I don't remember who brings up Rashid, but Denise's comments on Rashid were that she feels that he's a narcissist. And to be honest with you, I don't know if I could say, oh, he's a narcissist, but I feel like he does have narcissistic tendencies. I feel like he's very materialistic, things of that nature. But then when she was like, well, he's light-skinned, he went to a frat, blah, blah, blah. So she's kind of naming all of these stereotypes, basically, that she believes that Rashid is. I'm like, all right, well, I just, the light-skin comment just didn't sit well with me. I'm like, all right, I understand where she's coming from, but I also feel like this is very toxic thinking. That this is, your go-to. But I do believe that he also does have narcissistic tendencies. And Adriana is like, well, I mean, he didn't show that way to me. He hasn't shown me that. And she's like, well, they probably know who to do it to. She's speaking of narcissists or what have you. And I'll be honest with you. That's true. If you are a narcissist, which we are not sure of, they know who to do that shit to. And that's the truth. I don't know if that's how Denise meant it, but this is how I am translating it. Okay? So now we're going into episode 3. Let me tell you something. As Denise goes through this process, I feel like, especially when I'm reading all the comments and all the shit, I'm seeing people call her aggressive over and over and over and over and over. And it's just like, just because a person's not agreeable doesn't mean they're aggressive. And I feel like we really have to stop having this connection between like because it's always like the stereotype of the angry black woman, the aggressive woman, and I feel like they're really trying to paint Denise in that light of just being like an aggressive person. And I don't see an aggressive person. I see somebody who's been hurt. I see somebody who is struggling with that hurt. I see somebody who is taking things from past relationships and bringing them to the present and bringing it into future things. But I also feel like if you've ever been through something like ridiculously traumatic, you see any kind of similar traits, you're like, not doing that. That's natural. I feel like that's natural. The way she's going about it is wrong, but I don't feel like she's wrong for her feelings. Like, if it was my interaction with Rashid, I wouldn't be feeling Rashid. I'm just saying. I wouldn't, because all that flash and dash and things, it feels like she said it in this episode, it feels like it's covering up for other insecurities. And she doesn't know who those insecurities are. But these are things you keep in your head. It's like kitchen table talk, you keep it in the kitchen. But I don't feel like Denise being standoffish with Rashid automatically equals her being aggressive. And I'm really getting sick of that narrative. And I'm done with. All right. So now getting back into the actual couples. I just had to say what I had to say there. But yeah, so now we have Kalfani, who is playing pool with Denise. I love their connection. You guys. Like, I feel like it's so natural. It's so nice. Like, I just love them together. But I also feel like Kalfani is Kalfine to everyone. And he likes everyone right now. I mean, that's just how I feel. It's how I feel. I'm just being honest. But like I said, I do think they have something special together. And I love, and that's another reason why I kind of don't like the narrative about her, because you see that she's a soft and funny and charismatic person when she's with him. So that's obviously not, you can't just label her as just aggressive like that. But they're playing pool, and Adriana, who's been drinking a lot, decides she's going to go ahead and pull him and says, I just want to see him for a second. And they're chilling, and she's like, well, I'm not sure if you like me. And he's like, of course I like you. They're flirting, blah, blah, blah. And Denise is stewing, honey. She's stewing. So she brings this up later when they're at this kind of pool thing. And again, vibing, always having a good time with each other. But she mentions to him, like, I didn't really like that. And all I can say is that, boo, and this is where I'm going to talk to Denise, because I can also be very critical as well. Girl, this is a game. I understand you're supposed to be ready for love, but this is also a competition. Like, you can't expect, like, I'm not like super savage, but if I was in a situation like this and I want to make connections, I'm going to pop up and be like, hey, 1 second, can I get you for a second? Is what it is. You're. This is a fucking competition. This is not like in regular life where this is a restaurant where I just decide to go and pick up your date real quick. Like you can't come at me like that's the way you coming at me. That's crazy talk. I'm sorry. Then, like I said, she was a little upset about that. So Adriana, she's not feeling Denise at all, and Denise, to be honest, is not feeling Adriana. And I feel like the way that Denise is coming at Adriana is mad unfair. It comes off with like hateration in this dancery type shit. I don't know what is going on, but like I don't know why you don't like this girl, but I also feel like the way I understand where Denise is coming from because they had like they had this sit down where she was just like, when Tommy, I remembered his name. When Tommy went ahead and asked us in the group setting where you were going off about Rashid, about what makes a narcissist, you said things like, oh, he's light skinned, he's this, he's that. And those weren't things that really make up a narcissist. And Adriana is correct at that point. Like I said, I disagree with her assessment, but she's correct. And, that's when Denise is like, you know what? Like she's coming off like mad defensive at first, like really defensive. And then she's like, and then I guess finally she decides that this interaction is not working. She decides to be like, you don't know my story. Like I was with somebody who was a narcissist. And, basically those are the vibes that I've picked up. And I don't like it. Like I went missing for 4 days. That's something that's going to trigger somebody. And then Adriana was able to have some type of understanding. You got Rashid in the background, I guess, over ear hustling. And he's like, oh, look at my girl going all out for me. And I'm just like, all right, bro, whatever. But like I said, I'm kind of glad they had that interaction. And again, I don't know why people think, and then even when she goes to Rashid, she uses this word aggressive again. She's still using this aggressive term. Well, that's why she comes off so aggressive. And I'm like, do we just have two different definitions of what aggressive is? Disagreeable does not equal aggression. You see, I thought it was done. I'm not done. Like, but again, I am very glad they had that interaction because it gave Adriana a sense of understanding, which I really, really appreciate. And now that I'm going to pretend that I'm actually for real done ranting, now we're going to get to Winter. And I just want to say, like, first and foremost, Winter is so adorable. I love Winter. I love her spirit. I love how she carries herself. I feel like she's very sweet. But I feel like she also comes with, like, an air of confidence. And she also gives day. I saw in that pool and I was like, goodness, Jesus. Like, do you only like men? Like, if it don't work out, girl, let me stop. Anyway. But Winter's gorgeous. And Winter has such a great personality to match. And she's chilling with Jay, who I think is just... When he and Joy had that first interaction, he was like, well, if you'll be Barbie, I'll be Ken. I'm like, you really do look like a Ken doll dipped in chocolate. Girl. And I like his interaction with Winter as well. And I also like the way Winter kind of carries herself because she sees that Joy and Jay have like a connection together, and she sees it and she's like, I'm not sure whether to kind of let them have that connection or to kind of pull back and let them have it, or should I go ahead and be more aggressive about what I really think I like in him. And I like the fact that she even had like that different dichotomy of emotions, because some people would be like, bitch, like, I'm here, like, but she's actually like cares about her character and how she carries herself, and I'm just like, oh, woo woo woo, appreciate it. And I also want to just go ahead and put in KJ and I think Anna or Anya, Ava, whatever her name is. Y'all just need to hurry up and get off the show and go make some babies, okay? Why are you? They even said it, sitting down brunch with everybody. He's like, I found it already. She was like, well, with the power shifting, who knows what we, like she worries. Like, what you got to worry about? She's like, nothing. And I was like, girl, you know you ain't got shit to worry about. Go take your man home. I see. I just put that part in. Why are y'all still here? Because if it was me, I would have been like, so ain't nobody taking this shit from me. So let's go. Like, but that's me. I'm a little bit of a bird that way. And I also want to just go ahead and put in KJ and I think Anna or Anya, Ava, whatever her name is. Y'all just need to hurry up and get off the show and go make some babies, okay? Why are you? They even said it, sitting down brunch with everybody. He's like, I found it already. She was like, well, with the power shifting, who knows what we, like she worries. He's like, what you got to worry about? She's like, nothing. And I was like, girl, you know you ain't got shit to worry about. Go take your man home. I just put that part in. Why are y'all still here? Because if it was me, I would have been like, so ain't nobody taking this shit from me. So let's go. But that's me. I'm a little bit of a bird that way. So Rashid is like, I just want to know how you feel about the whole like defunding the police and all of the things that we hear. So he was asked a question. I want to put that out there and make that very clear. And, he starts going on about it and he starts trying to give the balanced, I felt, and very safe answers, I feel like, but he was still acknowledging the systemic racism that was going on. And then you hear Shay in the confessional talking about like, oh, this was going on a little too long. I feel like I fell asleep for like 2 minutes. And then she was like, I had to go over here. She goes over to, I think it was Cal Fani and, I think it was Denise and somebody else. And she was like, I'm going to come over here because conversation's a little too deep over there. And obviously Edwin overhears this because Shay is loud as fuck. And then he says to Adriana, who's in the pool, he was like, I understand that some people only want to talk about one thing and it's only everything's gonna be happy and rainbows and stuff. And he's like, in the confessional, he says like, but any person that I'm with, we're gonna have to have these conversations. And that's what I'm saying. Like, I understand you're ready to love, but you're ready to love based off of what? Like, you have to remember, like, whenever you're going into something, you are going to be looking for the connections that are going to ground you. And for everybody, it's different, but it's going to be religiously. It's going to be politically. It's going to be spiritually. These things need to be able to come in alignment and even for you to even form a relationship. So that bothered me. And then Shay, and then I think also because I already didn't like her. So, Shay sees Calfani come up to the pool and she like bigging his head up as if it needs to be any bigger. Talking about like, oh my goodness, it's at 10, watching him go in the pool, blah, blah, blah. And I think at this point she wasn't doing anything wrong, but she was annoying me. So then we get to David and Alicia, who have a really nice date and everything. And when I say Alicia's feeling him and all of Alicia's thickness, like, yes, girl, she's beautiful. She is really feeling him. She's feeling the beard. She's feeling all the things. She's feeling him. They go back after the date. They go back to her room. And she's like, you want to come in and get some snacks and watch a movie, blah, 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 stuff like that. She's trying to get it popping as far as I'm concerned. Okay. And he's like, yeah, give me like 20 minutes. Like, she's asking how long, like 20 minutes. He goes to Alex's room to say goodnight. They end up kissing, blah, blah, blah. Nosy ass Shay. Here come nosy ass motherfucker Shay. Shay come to the room. Shay goes into the hallway. She ear hustling. She go get Alicia. That shit was. I was like here for the mess. Now, you know what? I'm gonna save that. Hold on. So, Alicia's now listening to all of this, and she was like, in the confession, like, dude, you could have been real with me and been like, you don't want to come to my room tonight. You could have just, we didn't have to do all this because that is embarrassing. She didn't say that last part, but that is embarrassing. Like, it was unnecessary. You could have just been like, oh, I'm not coming back to my room. So that way you was going to do, I had nothing to do with. You feel me? Like, that would be my thinking. Now, Shay bringing it to Alicia, bringing her to the door, having them both ear hustle in the hallway. That's Shay's messy ass. But I enjoyed every minute of it. So thank you, Shay. Um, then we go back to Jay and Joy. They're sitting on a couch. No, I'm sorry. Let's go back to Jay and Winter. I'm sorry. So Jay and Winter are having an interaction in the pool. Joy comes in, and Winter is starting to feel away because she's like, it's like I feel like we're having a really great connection until Joy comes around. And then I feel like that connection dissipates. So she decides she wants to go ahead and pull him to the side and have a conversation about it. So they get out the pool. She goes back to her room. He comes in from the pool. He doesn't have a shirt on because it just came from the pool. And they have a conversation in their room about it. You got little nosy ass motherfucking Simone. Ear hustling Simone. Comes and sees this interaction. And then when she sees Jay and Joy on the couch, she says and sits down and sits next to him. And he was like, so I saw you went into Winter's room with your shirt off. Such a bad taste in my mouth. Such a bad taste in my mouth. And it's not because she brought it up. They're literally sitting in the couch, booed up together. You've already said earlier that you feel like, everybody loved Joy, and like Joy need to leave stuff for the rest of us. So I feel a little bit of, a little bit of something. So as soon as you see them together and you decide, I see a little bubble yelling, I'm like, pop that shit real quick. If you could have gone on a personal date with him or went ahead and pulled him to the side whenever they have these group dates and shit and been able to ask whatever the fuck you wanted. Because that's what I would have done. And she basically was like, I just want to know if y'all was doing it in there. And I'm like, are you six? Are you six? Honey. All right. It bothered me so much, y'all. It really did, because it was just too aggressive. It was mad unnecessary. And now I feel like, I don't know if she realizes, but bitch, you are now on the chopping block. Now, if it was, if I'm gonna, they cut it off at the episode and then we're like, oh, here's all this drama. We'll see you next week. That's fine. But if I was gonna make my prediction, I'm gonna say it's gonna be Simone and Denise in the bottom, because there's gonna be a bottom three. But I know Simone and Denise is gonna be there. I don't know who else gonna join them, but I feel like Simone and Denise are gonna be there. I really feel bad for Denise being there because I feel like it's more perception that is putting her there versus things that she's actually saying and doing. But at the same time, it's like, girl, you are coming off like very hatery to Adriana. And I don't see that energy with anybody else. And I can't figure out as to why. And I think it's, well, you know what? I think I do know why. I think it's because she bucking Rashid so hard. And then also because she likes Kalfani so much because, well, look at him. Okay? So, there you go. But then I also feel like all the men are gorgeous. All the women are beautiful. Like, I don't see a person I wouldn't fuck in there. You know what I mean? Like, all of them could get it. You know? And I don't think I'm missing anything. I'm just beginning, so I would love to be able to be like, hey, in the comments below, if I forgot anything, let me know. But it's going to be some time, girl. But that's it for the Ready to Love review episodes 2 and 3. And I will see y'all in the next one. And please like, comment, and subscribe.